job. Look at it. Come on, bring it up. How about those? We had to have it right there. Nice, hey. Sometimes hard to get over that hump and get right back on the winning side. You did a great job with it tonight. Great job of just bearing down. Butt kicker, nice job.
Yeah. Way to get the win, man. It's hard to get W's in here, man. It's a good fight, man. Enjoy this win, but put it behind us real fast, man. Put it behind us real fast, man. Hey, fam on 3. 1, 2, 3. Man.
At home or on the road, game day is a journey. Whether through Mile High or deep into the black hole,
10-5, touchdown, down he goes!
it always culminates here. This is Chiefs Rewind.
A sweet Monday night victory as the Chiefs get back in the win column. A 4th straight win of the Denver Broncos. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, and Chiefs reporter BJ Kissel. Chiefs get the win. I'm going to ask you about Marcus Peters and how much he set the tone right out of the gate in this game.
He did. It was the kind of play you were looking for from this defense, because we knew coming into this game it was going to be a struggling Broncos offense against a struggling Chiefs defense. It didn't take very long to see. They were going to come out and make plays. Marcus Peters set the tone early, got the turnover, got the touchdown, got things going, got the crowd involved in this one too.
Yeah, irony, 20 lost fumbles by Jamaal. The last time the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, it was a lost fumble at 9 seconds. I want to ask you, though, about Harrison Butker. 18 if you're keeping track in the Kingdom. Field goals in a row. What about this kid?
Yeah, they don't win the game without him, and I think that sometimes we forget that he's still a rookie, and he hasn't been with this team very long, but you feel comfortable when he's kicking. You know he's got the strong leg. He says it's actually interesting because he goes out during practice. He says it's windier than it is at Arrowhead. We know the wind swirls a little bit there, and he's already got it figured out. It's great to see.
But the clutch kicks, I mean, they needed every one of those, and to hit a long clutch kick. What does that mean to this team, and then being second in the NFL in touchbacks?
It means everything, and I think those are hidden yards. And you don't necessarily talk about them all the time, but it's hidden yardage. There's other special teams step up. Obviously, he's a huge part of that now. Justin Colquitt, Jehu Chesson makes a nice play in punt coverage. You get all 3 phases stepping up, making plays, and you have results like we saw tonight.
And let's just talk about the confidence. We're going to have Derek Johnson on later in the show, also Travis Kelce and Steven Nelson. But mentally, what does this do for this team?
It does a lot, and I know that there was a lot made of the 2 games in 5 days, and the team had struggled, but they got 10 days off. You could see the energy coming out early in this game. You could see the pressure. You see Justin Houston coming out, and I just talked to Coach Reed about it, saying that he had, 80 snaps in the Oakland game, and that's the reason he gave him a little time off this week. Came out, made plays off the edge, picked up 2 huge sacks, and we're talking about that. I want to talk about another guy. We're talking about sacks. I'm talking about Mitch Schwartz on the offensive line. That guy deserves the credit going up against Von Miller. Von Miller ended up with just 3 tackles. 2 of those came late. Didn't have a sack. Huge performance of Mitch Schwartz tonight.
4 straight wins over the Broncos. That hadn't happened in 17 years. Now let's check in at the studio with former Chief Danon Hughes and Neil Jones.
Thank you, gentlemen, and welcome to the 65 Toss Power Trap Studios. That losing streak is done. What a nice win for the Chiefs.
Excellent win to win this game, an AFC West rival, and to do it on your home stage after 2 straight losses. It was a phenomenal win. Great timing on center stage when the Chiefs needed to kind of separate themselves when everyone else in the division lost. This was a special game.
We hate the Broncos, but there's one Bronco that we do like, and that's Jamaal Charles. Now, Derek Johnson played with him at Texas, played with him with the Chiefs. He did get to tackle him one time in the 2014 Pro Bowl.
Yes, your little brother, big brother, you have a family, whatever it is, you always dream about the opportunity, Neil, when you can hit him full speed. He couldn't do it in practice, couldn't do it in training camp, but he got it done in the Pro Bowl. It was just kind of an appetizer to what we were going to see this evening.
That was ancient history. They were going to write a new chapter in this relationship with Jamaal Charles on Monday Night Football. Fireworks galore, and there's number 28. Jamaal wearing a strange number, but looking the same, carrying the football. This goes for 18 yards. But then on the very next play, they hand it to him. He picks up about 4 or 5 yards, but he won't go down, keeps fighting, and Marcus Peters rips the ball loose and takes it back 45 yards for the touchdown.
Excellent job by the defense. This is what you practice all throughout the offseason. Hold them up, post them up, but you can't dunk.
That's a penalty. Kansas City's defense is going to force a 3-and-out. Great job there from the weak side, making the tackle. And here comes the offense. Alec Smith Option pass to Travis Kelce for 16 tough yards.
A little bit of college coming out. This is the creativity that we saw with Andy Reid. Extended break, opens up the door. Travis Kelce with a little pump and go, automatic mismatch. Stewart has no chance, right over the outside shoulder. Touchdown Chiefs.
29 yards for a 14-0 lead, and the Broncos offense continues to sputter. Trevor Siemian's pass is picked off by Peters.
Don't try number 22 on the sideline. He does an excellent job squeezing the receiver to the sideline, getting his head around, and picking the ball off. I don't know what Trevor Siemian was thinking with that.
But on 2nd down and goal, Kansas City's trick play backfires. Tyreek Hill's pass picked off.
Sometimes you can get a little too creative, a little bit of trickeration there. Doesn't go well for the Chiefs.
That seems to ignite the Broncos offense. Siemian to Demaryius Thomas for 22 yards. Then he's going to hit Virgil Green for 16 more.
Unnecessary chance taken there by Parker, and they get a big play.
But Justin Houston breaks through to sack that drive, forcing a field goal.
How about getting number 50 back there, creating some havoc in opponent's backfield? You got to love it.
And the Chiefs respond with a drive of their own. Smith to Kareem Hunt for 12.
Nice job. Never the first guy bringing them down. Always good after catching contact.
Great throw here to Tyreek Hill. This is big for 25.
Threading the needle. Good coverage downfield. Nice job.
Then an option play. And this guy knows how to run the option. Hunt picks up 11. But, folks, the Broncos defense is ranked #1 for a reason. They make 2 straight plays.
Chiefs did not do well in the red zone in this game. Throw the ball high over the head of the tight end, and there's that man, the golden leg, Harrison Butker.
That makes it a 17-3 Chiefs advantage. Kansas City's defense will come up with another takeaway. Siemian's pass picked off by Ron Parker.
Ron Parker playing the ball extremely well. Great ball skills here. High points it, keeps his body in bounds. Another turnover for the Chiefs.
Chiefs look like they may have a scoring opportunity right before the end of the half, but it's killed here as Denver comes up with a strip in recovery. 2 first-half turnovers for the Chiefs, but they still led it by 14 points at halftime. They dominated that 2-touchdown lead. That sounds great, but it might have been a lot more.
Well, it should have been a lot more. Let's face it, they got in the red zone. They did not do a good job capitalizing on the mistakes by the Denver Broncos. Also, on offense, you got your first 2 turnovers since the first play of the first game of the season against the New England Patriots. That's not what this team is made about. That's not what Alex Smith has done this season. They needed to kind of shore things up for the second half.
Not a lot of offense for the Chiefs in the second half. Let's take a look at what happens. That guy right there ends up playing a big role, Dustin Colquitt, because his punt is fumbled by Isaiah McKenzie. Look at DeAnthony Thomas coming up big, recovering at the 16.
The third phase of the game, doing their job, making an impact in this game, whether it's kicking the ball, punting the ball, or getting a turnover.
That set up a field goal, but folks, that was about it for the Chiefs offense. This Denver defense is good.
They are very good. The Chiefs offense only had 77 total yards in the second half. The Denver Broncos did step up.
Look at this. They keep making plays, pressuring the quarterback. Alex has nowhere to go with it and ends up being an incompletion. But the Broncos, they finally put together a drive. Siemian to Benny Fowler, who picks up 29.
Well, finally, they were able to catch the ball downfield and get yards after the catch. One part of the Chiefs defense that has hurt them has been the big plays. They've given up way too many big plays in several games, and Denver was able to capitalize.
And they were able to get the touchdown there, and that cuts this down to just a 7-point lead. Chiefs first down of the second half. He doesn't come till the final play of the third quarter as Kelce gains 11. Then Smith keeps the drive going with his 33-yard pass to Kelce. Boy, that was a big play.
Big-time play. The run game was non-existent in this game. Give a lot of credit to the Broncos, but the passing game, Alex Smith, pinpoint accuracy in the passing game, opened up the door to put points on the board. Unfortunately, Neil, a lot of 3s and not many 7s.
That field goal with 12:34 to go was 18 straight for the rookie kicker. And the Kansas City defense will make that lead stand up. A bunch of big plays as they harass Siemian down the stretch. Picked up some penalties on Denver. Good job defensively. And the Kansas City Chiefs can escape with a hard-fought 29-19 victory. Not a good night for the Bronco offense and the Bronco quarterback, Trevor Siemian. He really, there's the numbers right there, not very impressive. 19 of 36 throwing the ball, but look at that. 3 interceptions. And as we said, they turned it over a total of 5 times, the Broncos did on the night. Meanwhile, not great offensive numbers for the Kansas City Chiefs, but they didn't have to have great numbers. They did enough to win.
They did absolutely enough to win. You consider Travis Kelce stepped up his game. You saw his numbers, 7 for 133 and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, not necessarily where we've become accustomed to seeing him. Less than 100 yards total offense, had 25 touches on the day. Still got to give credit to Denver Broncos. Their defense stepped up against the run. It was a tall task to come in here into Arrowhead. They did some good things, but we got the best of them for the most part.
I always thought the Chiefs had one of the best in the business in Marty Schottenheimer. He knew how to win. He knew how to win in the division. Well, guess what? Big Red knows as well. When we come back, we're going to talk to one of the most successful coaches in the history of the AFC West, one-on-one with Andy Reid.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Premier Mazda and Premier Volvo Cars Overland Park. Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs. And by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Simeon can run. He did it at Northwestern from the goal line. Back to throw, being charged. Down he goes as Justin Houston comes in the back porch. It's a loss of 5, and Justin Houston continues to torment Denver. 12.5 career sacks against the Broncos. By far the most against any Justin Houston opponent.
The Kansas City Chiefs have now beaten the Denver Broncos 4 straight times. That hasn't happened in 17 years. Head coach Andy Reid says that he's excited to be on the winning side of things once again, but still gives a lot of credit to Denver head coach Vance Joseph. He says he knows that it's going to be another tough battle when they go to Mile High on New Year's Eve.
Coach, congratulations. What a great game plan. You left points out there.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we left a few points. That's a good defense right there, too. And Vance has done a nice job with that team. And, you know, they're going through a little bit of a transition phase here, and they've had some injuries. So, you know, we'll have another opportunity here down the road with them. But that's a heck of a football team, especially that defensive side is something.
Yeah, they really rallied to the ball. You get it done tonight without Kareem Hunt. First night, I think, you know, not 100 yards from scrimmage. You were creative, though. I mean, I felt at times like I was watching a different team out there.
Yeah, well, you got to do some creative things. We got cut short on one with that halfback pass. I wish I had that one back, but you know, we've had some success with some of those things, and you know, we got to keep you off balance a little bit, and that one got us.
You can want it back, but I think he throws that a little bit further. That's a touchdown. Their defense, not the only one that has a nose for the ball. Boy, your defense in that first half was all over it.
Yeah, I thought they rallied to the ball. They were aggressive. Bob, I thought, did a heck of a job. 22 got it going right away, man, with the pick and pick 6, for that matter. And so, you know, I thought they were rolling.
Talk about Aker getting the start. I felt like he did a great job.
Yeah, Aker, it was his first start there this season. And we have a bunch of different personnel groups where everybody has a chance to play. But I was proud of how he did. He had a turnover again, an interception late in the game, and that it was big for us. So, but I thought he was very respectable tonight.
Your tight end, it seemed like they just didn't have an answer for him. Denver just couldn't find him.
Yeah, I thought Kelce had a big night. I mean, probably should have called more for him as it was all said and done. But I was proud of him, and you know, they did a nice job on offense here. So I thought our guys rallied it up and did well.
Well, he talks about the tight end, and the tight end really did have a big night. This Denver defense doesn't let anybody have big numbers, but Travis Kelce found a way to do it, and he is our DraftKings fantasy performer of the game, and here's why. 7 catches, 133 yards, averaged 19 yards a reception. He's our fantasy performer of the game, brought to you by DraftKings. Head to DraftKings.com and use the promo code Chiefs to play for free. And as you can see, the numbers, the points added up as he continued to do it. Why was he able to get open?
Well, let's face it. When you look at the Denver defense, Neil, you have 2 bookend corners that are shut down corners. And so what does that tell you about this defense is that the openings and the areas where you're going to have the most fruit is going to be in the middle. Well, that's where Travis Kelce has done his work. He's done it well against the Denver Broncos, game in and game out, and today was no different. 7 catches, 133, and a touchdown. He got things started for this Chiefs offense in a special way.
So there are people around the AFC West who hate the Chiefs, but they got him on their team, so they're happy with Travis Kelce. So he's our performer of the game. There were a lot of performers on defense. The offense didn't win this one on their own, including a linebacker who's played more games against the Denver Broncos than anybody else in a Chiefs uniform. We're going to go one-on-one with Derek Johnson when Rewind returns.
Second down 6. Charles again goes the right side again. The Chiefs. Now ball comes off. The ball's ripped up. Picked up by Peters at the 30, at the 20, at the 10. 5. Touchdown! Kansas City!
Derek, I got to ask you, just to get this victory, wasn't super pretty, but to get this win and get a division foe, overall, your thoughts?
Man, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. We're blessed, man. We worked our butts off trying to get back into the winning column, and to do that against a division opponent, man, great job by our team. I mean, Andy Reid, our defense, Bob Sutton. We did a great job tonight, and this is a big win for us, big.
Gigantic win and a gigantic play to preserve the win. They decided to go for it on 4th and 4 at their own 48 in the 4th quarter. First of all, were you surprised by that decision? And then you make the key play. What did you see and how did you defend it?
I was surprised. It was about 10 or 11 minutes to go in the game. That's a little gutsy, but at the same time, if they make it, it's a great play. But we were in cover 2. The middle of the field was a little bit open, and I stuck my foot in the ground, and sometimes you're not further enough to close enough to knock the ball down with your hand, so you got to separate the man from the ball by hitting him, and it worked this time.
When Peters stripped and set the tone early, what did that do for you guys to get, and it's against Jamaal, but for Peters to make that play, what did that do to ignite everything?
You know what, it's about moments that create momentum, and that was a moment that created momentum. I mean, for him that's a gutsy play by him, and to pick it up and run it for a touchdown, that's pretty big. That set the momentum and the tone early in the game, with a couple sacks with Houston, a couple interceptions, and man, it was one of those things where we made some big plays, and we were part of making an impact to help win the game. That's what you want.
And how much did this guys help you guys get your confidence back after that Oakland game?
Winning always helps your confidence all the time, and we talk about don't blink. You know, when they make a play, because they made a couple plays tonight, especially in the run game, but don't blink. Don't blink, meaning don't lose your confidence during the game, and we're having fun again. We're having fun again. When you can have fun, you can win.
Final question. You had some different guys in the secondary. Acker gets to start at corner on the right side, and nickel was Nelson. What about those guys tonight?
You know what? Steve Nelson is a guy that we love him. You know, he knows how to play that nickel spot, and that's a hard position, being in the slot, because a guy has two-way go. But that was a plus for us getting him back. And Acker, coming off the bench, hadn't played this year, and he did a great job tonight. Got him an interception. So we got a lot of young guys stepping up, man. I'm an old man in the candy store. I'm loving it.
When he says old, he means old. 34 years, which in football terms is like being about 100 years old. By my numbers, this was his 23rd time that DJ's played against the Broncos. They needed a victory. They get a victory.
Yeah, and it was essential that they did. Let's face it, this team was reeling backwards. There was some question about the defense. They lost 2 games in 96 hours against 2 formidable opponents that everyone expected to be kind of in the playoff race. So you wondered where the identity of this team was. I think they established that again tonight. They let everyone know that this offense is potent, that the defense can be a defense that can turn the ball over and turn the field over, and they did it in fine fashion. And then, hey, how about throwing in a little extra with the special teams coming through and Harrison Butker with those 5 field goals?
Can you tell he's a special teams captain in his time? 4 takeaways for a defense that has heard about it for 10 days, about how they failed against the Raiders on that final drive. What a great job.
Outstanding job. When you consider what the Denver Broncos were, they were not the cream of the crop on offense. They were a team that didn't score points in their last game. They don't have good quarterback play. The offensive line has been suspect. But you still have to show up. You still have to step up. They're still pros. They still get paid as well. But our defense stepped up to the challenge when there were a lot of people questioning their ability.
We saw some guys make plays we're not used to. What do they have to do moving forward to build on this and to continue to improve?
It's just about improving each week. It's about doing those things that are necessary. This defense came a long ways. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're getting the interceptions instead of just deflecting the ball. That's key. Keep continuing to do that. They got a tough task coming up next week against the Dallas Cowboys. They can't afford any kind of letdown at this point. If you want to be the cream of the crop and you want to be the best team, or at least to show that you're worthy to be the best team in the AFC, you got to win these types of games.
The Chiefs fans were celebrating in the parking lot after the game, and you can bet the celebration was just as loud inside the locker room. That's where you're going to go next on Chiefs Rewind.
The Kansas City Chiefs snap a 2-game losing streak with a big win over the Denver Broncos, 29-19 here at Arrowhead Stadium. What we saw in this game was a resurgence from the defense. This team created 5 turnovers, 4 of which were on the defensive side of the ball, including a Marcus Peters fumble recovery for a touchdown. Inside that locker room, we talked to linebacker Justin Houston, and he said this was the kind of game that this defense needed. You guys also had a chance to go up against Jamaal Charles again. Seeing him again, what was that like?
It was a blessing to see my brother again, man. I mean, I got something to, I'm on the upper hand right now. We up with the win, so I mean, we got to beat him the next time so I can have something to talk about this offseason. But it's always good to see Jamaal, man. I talked to him all week. We knew we was going to see each other, but like I said, it's a blessing to see him still doing what he loves to do.
Going against a tough Denver defense like that, talk about that. What were you guys able to do to kind of get things going?
I mean, we already know coming in this game, Denver got one of the best, if not the best defense in the National Football League. So we got to go in. I mean, in this game, 3-4 yard runs are big runs. I mean, because like you say, that hats off to their defense, so they're pretty good.
I think, you know, you're gone from your buddies, and then you're watching the sideline. It definitely takes a toll on you emotionally. So. You know, everything wasn't perfect out there, but I had a blast being out there with the guys and being back part of the offensive line. So that was a good time and a lot to work on, but I have the opportunity to work on it now and not worry about getting this foot better.
What did you see from this team and the way it regrouped after that loss at Oakland?
Yeah, I think, you know, the no panic. There was just a sense of urgency, and they had the mindset to come to work every day with a purpose, and I think that showed, especially butt kicker, Butker. That dude is just automatic. So we execute the game plan. You know, we definitely can improve in the run game, and we will. And it's exciting because we have something to work on.
The practices, we do a really good job of getting after and treating every kick like a game. It's actually windier during practice, so when I come out here, you know, I'm used to it. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the preparation, being consistent and treating every game like it's the most important game and last game I'll play.
Yeah, it was more focused on let's get back on the winning side of the ball. You know, let's focus on us, not about Denver. You know, let's play our game. You know, that was the focus point of this week. And I felt like we did that. We had fun. We created turnovers. Everybody jumping up. The crowd got into it. So that's what it's all about.
How about Coach Reed's message to you all after the game?
You know, Coach Reed is Coach Reed. He's very calm and simple with everything, but he get his point across. You know, how about those cheese?
Well, there were a bunch of heroes, and we heard from a few of them there in this 29-19 victory, but there was one man who set the tone very early. Denver moving the football in their first possession until a big play by a guy who has made a bunch of big plays in his career, Marcus Peters.
Well, Marcus Peters is a shutdown corner. He is a top 5 corner in the league. Gets a lot of negative flack because some of the things he does on the field, whether it's the kneeling during an anthem or getting penalties. But the fact remains is he is a true playmaker. He is what we've dreamed about. We forget about some of those bad defensive days when we had, or bad defensive seasons that we had, corners that were getting torched against opposing offenses. Marcus Peters is a gem, and he showed that this evening.
Now, we saw him do something that we've seen him do a lot, and that is leave his receiver, get a read on the ball, make a play on the ball, come up with either a pass defense or an interception. But we also saw him do something in ripping the ball out that we saw last November, a do-or-die situation. They have to get the football back, and on first down, what looks like a first down for the other team ends up being a big play for the Chiefs.
That's what you do as a defensive back. You are a ball hawk. Sometimes we talk about ball hawks, and it's all about interceptions. You just have a nose for the ball. Marcus Peters has the instincts that are incredible. He knows how to get the ball. He knows how to trick quarterbacks. He knows how to take advantage of miscues by opposing offenses, whether it's wide receivers or in tonight's case, a running back. He did an outstanding job.
Really quickly, the Chiefs had some new faces in their secondary, including Steven Nelson, who comes back from injury. They threw at him a lot, and he came up big.
Well, Steven Nelson and Kenneth Acker did an outstanding job. You consider this defense had been torched. There's been some question in the back end. We knew what we had in number 22, but the rest, there were some question marks. Well, I think some of those questions were answered. Steven Nelson came into a very difficult situation, having to play nickel back against a team that has some viable weapons at the offensive position. And then you have Kenneth Acker that takes over for Terrence Mitchell and does a phenomenal job on his side of the field as well. Everything came together. Offense, defense, special teams. They did a great job, and they came away with the win.
Well, Marcus Peters wasn't the only Pro Bowler who came up big for the Chiefs in this victory. They also got a big night from their Pro Bowl tight end. We'll try to cover him one-on-one when we come back.
Alec Smith floats a pass, wide open left side. Travis Kelce over the shoulder catch, touchdown! Kansas City at the far front pylon, as open as you can be for a 29-yard touchdown, burning Darian Stewart.
Travis Kelce, 133 yards receiving and a touchdown. What was happening tonight, formation-wise and route-wise, to get you going?
They seem to run a little bit more man coverage than a lot of teams in the past, and Alex kind of knew that it was a matchup that we liked. So I mean, sure enough, going into it, just trying to be accountable for him on every single down is my job. So just went into it with that mentality.
Coach said they throw a little bit of everything. They double, they chip, they do all kinds of things to try to slow you down. But 26 receptions, 394 yards, a couple touchdowns the last 3 games against these guys. What is it about this matchup that brings out the best in you?
I couldn't tell you, man. It's I think it's just the overall mentality of playing Denver, playing a divisional rival, and coming out here and trying to be that guy for my teammates. And you know, whether it's Monday night, whether it's Sunday during the day, whether it's Thursday night, you know, you have to come out here and you have to play and you have to be accountable. And sure enough, coming in this week, we knew that we had to up our ante with 2 losses in the previous 2 weeks. So it's just going out there and being who we know we can be.
I'll let BJ ask you about the touchdown. I'm going to ask you about the biggest play people will forget about. The Chiefs had 11 yards of offense in the whole third quarter. You get 11 on one play on a third down when the Chiefs needed oxygen. What happened on that play and your desire to go get that ball?
I actually believe that was a broke down play. So it was me just kind of improvising with Alex to keep that drive going. Like I said, just being accountable for him. He kind of threw it over the middle late, which is kind of a golden rule as a QB never to do, but sure, he trusted me. And that's the best part about it, is that Alex is trusting all of us on offense right now to just go up and make plays for him.
Talk a lot about Andy Reid, talk a lot about play designs. Walk me through the touchdown play. Seemed to be wide open. What was it about that play design? What was it about that execution?
I think it was just it was a man-to-man route, and I knew he was playing heavy inside leverage, and just give him a quick move and try and take off and use my burners. Use that speed I got, the turbo I got sitting in the trunk. And sure enough, Alex put the ball right on the money. I mean, it could have been any better if I was covered. So it's just making plays, man, making plays.
Final question. We talked about your leadership role on this team. Confidence-wise, what did this do for you guys?
It gets us to next week. You know what I mean? This league it's a tricky league. You got to maintain throughout the year. And sure enough, we can't lose focus. We're seeing the bye here after this game. So I mean, we just got to lock it in, go down to Jerry's World, and wreck some heads, man.
7 catches, 133 yards, but we saw a bunch of plays from other games. Why in the world has he been so successful against the Broncos in recent years?
Well, we talked about it earlier. You look at the landscape of this Denver Broncos defense, and they have 2 shutdown corners. They're very good against the run. So where does that leave the opening or the weakness? It's usually going to be in the middle. The safeties just cannot match up with Travis Kelce. He does an outstanding job creating separation, and Alec Smith is trusting him more against this specific defense. And that's why you've seen the great numbers and the great production by Travis Kelce, because the middle of the field is open. When it's man-to-man and it's one-on-one, he can take advantage of his size and his speed, where he's too big for defensive backs and too fast for linebackers.
Big game for him. Lots of guys had big games. We're going to hear from some more players as they talk in the locker room. That's coming up next on Chiefs Rewind.
It's just a matchup problem, you know, and bigger than most corners. Route running wise, though, is a tough matchup for safeties and linebackers. So it's a little bit of pick your poison. He's had success, you know, throughout his career versus all 3 of those matchups. So, you know, it's just finding a way. Everybody, it seems like there's a different plan each week, given the defense, and certainly he's always seems like he does get attention, and rightfully so. But you know, obviously he does I mean, a heck of a job understanding what they're doing to him, how he combats it. And he always seems to, you know, have a, you know, a comeback move off of it. You know, he knows how teams play him and has a good plan of attack going into games. I don't think you can always afford. Yeah, I mean, defense and special teams, I thought bailed us out a bunch with turnovers and field position, and we kicked a bunch of field goals. There's going to be times where, yeah, you're going to need to capitalize on one of those. I'm not saying you're going to be 100% down there, but you need, you know, it's a big difference maker to get a couple in and definitely changes games. And I think as the season goes on and you're playing big games, I mean, obviously that red zone situational football becomes, you know, pretty critical.
Hey, what a great way to close the show. Bring in the nickelback, Steven Nelson. How good was it to get back on the field?
Oh, my God, it was amazing. You know, it's been a long wait, and just finally able to get back out there with my team, and we got the win, so what a better way.
I remember talking to you at training camp about how hard you worked this offseason to be ready to go. I know how hard it was for you to watch. You get tested early in this game, first couple passes, no completions. What was it like getting your feet wet early in this game?
Oh, man, I anticipated them coming at me early, you know, my first game back. So, you know, I just executed what my coaches taught me all week.
And then also to get 5 takeaways in this game. And Marcus setting the tone. What about you guys being aggressive in this game?
That's very big, man. Marcus always comes up with those turnovers for our defense. That's something we work hard on in practice, getting those takeaways. And so we feed off each other's energy.
And you guys had the big break before this game. You had the 10 days. Now you're going on a short week, going down to Dallas, and you've got the bye week. How do you guys keep this momentum going?
We just got to put this one behind us and hit the ground running with practice hard, film study, and, you know, just move on to the next one.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. If you couldn't tell, 20 is back playing that nickelback, and now we're all headed to Dallas. Chiefs win it over the Denver Broncos.
Oh, Chiefs.
Welcome back to Chiefs Rewind, presented by Community America Credit Union. All right, it doesn't get any easier. The Chiefs have to play the Steelers, Raiders, and Broncos. 3 teams desperately needing victories to keep their season going. And now they got to play a Dallas Cowboy team that's won 2 straight games, but they are desperate to stay in their race because they're 2.5 games behind the Eagles in the NFC East. And the Cowboys are a dangerous team.
Well, they are dangerous, and the Eagles haven't made it easy for them. The Eagles are with only 1 loss, obviously, to our Chiefs. But the Cowboys, they're going to be on their home turf. They have a lot of pride in their home field advantage, and they want to come out with a victory. Now, Ezekiel Elliott, there's going to be some questions as to whether he'll be out there, but it's still going to be a tough game for the Chiefs to come out victorious.
Dallas beat the Redskins 33-19 in Washington. That's for the highlights we're looking at here. Elliott came up huge. 33 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. And there's the score there. And I'll tell you what, Elliott makes everybody on that offense look better because Dak Prescott does not have to throw the football a ton. He was only 14 of 22 for 143 yards, but that was enough as Dallas won their second straight game. For the season, Dak has thrown 14 TDs versus just 4 interceptions. Elliott is the real deal. 164 carries, 690 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, averages 4 yards a carry. They are a different football team when he's got the ball on his hands, but we don't know if he's going to be able to play it. As we tape this, he's suspended. Yeah. That could change, but if they don't have him, it changes the game completely for the Chiefs.
Well, it changes it completely indeed, because right now you have to focus on where number 21 is in the backfield. If he's not there, they have Alfred Morris. They also kept Darren McFadden on the roster for this situation, not knowing when or if he was going to have to sustain that 6-game suspension. But the fact remains, they don't want to put the onus on Dak Prescott. He's shown he can lead this team, and if he has to win with his arm, he can do it. But at the same time, they'd rather have the running attack being the main source of their offense. And without Elliott there, it's going to be tough sledding for him.
All right, the Chiefs are 6-2. They reached the halfway point of the season, much better than most of the experts predicted, but can they make it 7 wins over the Dallas Cowboys? We'll have that for you next time on Rewind.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Premier Mazda and Premier Volvo Cars Overland Park. Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs. And by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.